The Playboy settles down. That's gonna be what this video is about. I'm a professional men's dating coach and now relationship coach for men. And I really want to talk about my journey over the past decade and all the things that I've learned and where I'm at now. So I started dating women around the age of like 13, 14 years old. And this is where I noticed I was very bad with women, bad socially, awkward in just group dynamics on how to socialize with people. I was definitely like the shy kid in middle school and even into high school as well. And I got my heart broken quite a few times because, these women were attracted to me purely because of looks, and someone else asked her out for me. That's how I ended up getting a girlfriend, 2 girlfriends, 3 girlfriends between middle school and high school. And the longest relationship within my grade school years maybe lasted like a month. They usually lasted a month or less because I was just so shy. I was just so awkward. I did not know how to interact with women in a smooth or cool way. I was like oblivious. I had no idea. I would see like my friends do it, or like guys who are like charismatic and cool, and I'd be like how are they just like socializing and talking to these girls like it's no big deal, and the girls are laughing? Like, how do you make girls laugh? Like all these things. It was like I had no clue. So I had a lot of rough experiences with women in my middle school and high school years. So after high school, I ended up having another girlfriend just for like a tiny bit. I mean, the 7 months is my longest relationship. That was like right after I graduated from high school. And after I got my heart broken with that girl, I really just went balls to the wall on being a Playboy. I remember like the first time I ever did a cold approach was at my college. This is when I really started to get into cold approach, dating, confidence, so watching videos, taking notes obsessively, just working on my approach anxiety and all of that kind of stuff. I remember the first approach I did was at a college campus during daytime. I see this girl walking in the hallway, so I was like, fuck it, like let's do it. So I ended up walking to catch up to her, and then she ends up like going outside. So then I follow her outside into the parking lot, and that's where I did my first cold approach. And I think I said, if I'm not mistaken, I'm like pretty sure this is what I said. Excuse me, you look amazing. I think I said that. I got that from Tay Social. He's another men's dating coach. And I think she just told me she was lesbian. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I left. That was my first ever cold approach. Second one, I believe, was during the nighttime. And I just like put my hand out or like said hey to a girl, and she just looked at me weird and kept walking. And then right after that is when I just went, you know what, fuck this. Because as soon as I got rejected from that girl during the nighttime, my friend was like, see, this is why I don't approach women. And then I saw a group of guys laughing. And then I was like, okay, well, this is the worst case scenario. Girl rejects me, my friend doesn't even support me, and a group of guys are laughing at me. So then I was like, I felt like, boom, this automatic shift. So then I was like, fuck this. I walked up to 2 girls right after that and instantly hooked the set, danced with one of the girls, and it was smooth. And I was like, okay, cool. So all this stuff about rejection and all this stuff is actually not that bad. So game became my addiction. I went out every single week, during the weekdays, during the weekends, to any spots that I knew that were popping, and I just approached. And I took lots of videos of this. I have a lot of video proof of me with women, whether it's approaching them, whether it's making out, whether it's talking, whether that's other things that I can't show on YouTube. And it was just my identity for the past 6-7 years, just being this Playboy. I got the shirt on to rep it. And I've learned a lot, trust me. Like, it was a super beneficial experience. It was something that I needed to go through. something that I needed to experience, because there was a lot of things I learned, social skills, charisma, how to lead things forward, how to, get over approach anxiety, how to build my confidence, being really good with women in the bed, because obviously, over the years I just got really good because I wanted to get better every time that I did it. I've read books on how to get better in the bed as well. I've done so much research on the topics of dating, social skills, female psychology, how to become a better lover in the bedroom. And now it's a heavy focus on spirituality, relationships, emotional intelligence, how to have really healthy relationships and how to navigate them. So that's been my main focus. For about the past 4 months, I've been in a committed monogamous relationship, and it's been such a huge change. I noticed all of the traumas, fears, deep insecurities, limiting beliefs risen up very quickly when talking to this woman. And I've noticed this over the past 7 years when I was being a Playboy. I noticed every time I was talking to a girl who I was actually a little bit more serious than other women, I would notice that girl in particular would trigger me a lot more. And maybe that's just because I spend more time with her, so she has more time to say something or do something that would trigger me. But I also know there's other girls that I just did not care what they said or did. It didn't bug me. But there was just certain girls where if I liked them a little bit more than the other ones, then they can get me triggered. And I think that's one of the reasons why I was so scared to commit to a woman, to get into a relationship, to be vulnerable. Because I noticed, I was like, ooh, every time I start talking to a girl, she'll say something that'll trigger me. And instead of expressing it or dealing with it or anything, I just shove it down. Doesn't faze me. So I never expressed how affected I was whenever I was triggered when dealing with women in the past 7 years, right? I just thought it was cool to just be this masculine stoic, what you're taught nowadays of how to be masculine. Just shove your emotions down and pretend like you don't have them. That's actually one of the most insecure things, funny enough. That's not confident or masculine at all. And that's one of the things I've learned. That's why I don't resonate with these alpha coaches or the Andrew Tates or any of these people who really, the Fresh and Fit, the red pill, black pill, whatever. I don't resonate with these people because if you actually see them and you know what insecurity looks like, you can see right through it. Someone could be talking like they know what they're saying and they look really confident. They got the cars and the money and the women and the muscles. Underneath all of that is deep, deep, deep insecurity. Ego that is extremely fragile. It's like a house built on toothpicks. So easy for it to crumble because it is built on the external. If you place your confidence in who you are on the external, how many cars do I have? How much money do I have? How many women like me? How many followers do I have? All of these things that guys are just programmed. Trust me. I was definitely one of those guys and still transitioning to someone who is more integrated and more just grounded and not so dependent on having all these things to prop up my very fragile negative ego. Okay? So you have to really understand this and be aware of who you're listening to. Trust me, the guys where it looks like you should be listening to them because, like I said, they have the money, the women, the cars, the this, the that, all the external things that make them look really cool. I'm not saying all of them. Of course, there's guys who are grounded that have all those stuff, but there's also guys that you're probably listening to, you might be listening to because they have all these external things, but you're not seeing underneath all of it. Now, one of the abilities that I have, and I'm sure everyone has this ability, but it's just really seeing the energy. Where is this person coming from? So I can watch one video, maybe two, couple. It doesn't take me that long. Or if I meet someone in person, I could instantaneously tell where they're coming from. For example, if they're probably a narcissist, if they suppress their emotions, if they're a cool guy, if like whatever it is, I can see that. Probably because I've just been approaching thousands of women over the past couple years. So what I really want to talk about now is like the journey that I'm on now as a quote unquote retired Playboy. So I've been getting very, very much into spirituality. I've been into it for a couple years now. I'd say a lot of years, but now it's even more so. And this is going into my coaching as well, because I understand that the internal is much more important than focusing on the external. For example, some ways guys coach is don't do these things are beta. Do these things are alpha, right? They're trying to control the external. They're trying to control the symptoms, the behaviors, rather than looking at the deeper things. And the deeper things are usually always beliefs, belief systems, definitions, things you believe to be true, because everything generates from that. The belief generates the emotions or the feelings generate those thoughts then create those actions that you take, and those actions that you take create your physical reality. So if you understand that, then you understand that everything comes from the belief. So if you have a limiting belief, guess what that's gonna manifest as? A negative physical reality, because of that process from the belief to the emotion to the thoughts to the actions to creating the physical reality. So now I'm really just enjoying this idea of taking all these lessons that I've learned from spirituality. I've learned so much, and implementing them even more into my coaching and what I teach my students and what I teach you guys. It's not gonna be no alpha guy, the red pill guy, telling you to shove down your emotions. Like, no, dude, I've cried in front of my girlfriend. I've told her my deepest insecurities, the deepest things that I'm ashamed about. Yes, that's called being vulnerable. That's called being courageous. That's called being more of a man than someone who tries to not be affected, wants to look stoic and masculine and alpha. That's coming from deep insecurity. Okay, so, and it's benefited the relationship. Like, she hasn't lost respect for me. Like, a lot of you guys think that. Like, she's the most feminine, loyal, submissive, takes care of me, like even pays for me, like wants to do everything for me, is so in love with me. And I can go on a list of other things. But the point I'm trying to make is she didn't lose respect for me because I was vulnerable and I've cried in front of her. Like, if you hear these alpha guys talk about this, they're like, oh, if you do that, she's gonna leave you. She's gonna lose respect for you. What did I say earlier? Your beliefs create your physical reality. So if you believe that being vulnerable or crying or whatever makes the girl lose respect for you or lose attraction, guess what? You are going to attract a physical reality to prove your limiting belief. Here's the quote. You don't believe what you see what you believe. That is so fucking true. Like, you have no idea how true that is. Whatever you believe to be true, you are going to find and create evidence of that belief. That is how it works. If you think you need to be 6 foot with a chiseled jawline to attract a girl, then guess what? You are going to find more proof and more proof and more proof of that. Whatever the limiting belief is. And this is why, like, my coachings aren't just for dating. This stuff is something you can use in all areas of life. Dating, finance, relationships with friends, business, health, every single area. Because this is how your physical reality is created. So one of the processes and things that I really help my students who work one-on-one with me is learning how to identify these limiting beliefs so that you can let them go and then replace them with the beliefs that are actually what you prefer, so that you can create a physical reality that you prefer. Trust me, beliefs, they make you think that they're real. It feels really real. When you believe a belief, oh my God, does it feel real. Oh my God, does it feel real. But once you just realize, like, oh, I contain all beliefs because I am all that is. Now I'm getting into the spiritual stuff. The spiritual stuff, in my opinion, is actually just the real stuff. So if you are all that is, if you contain all beliefs, then guess what? you have the limiting belief, I'm unworthy, and you also have the belief, I'm worthy. Because you contain all beliefs. You are all that is. So you can simply acknowledge that you have the limiting belief and then decide to take on the belief that you actually prefer. And the thing is, a lot of people tend to have trouble finding these beliefs, their limiting beliefs, because they're usually subconscious. You're not consciously aware of them. So once you actually become consciously aware of this subconscious belief, then you can acknowledge it and then change it. But if you can't acknowledge it, if you don't acknowledge it first, you cannot change it because you haven't become consciously aware of it. It is still running you without you being aware of it. My brand name is called Step Into Power. Now, people might have different understandings of what power is. The way I see it is not in the way of how society says power, of the fame, the status, the money, all that kind of stuff. It is about, I mean, there's so many ways to describe this, but it's like you were born. Not only were you born, you have always been very powerful. You are the creator. So when I tell you that you are the creator of your reality, I mean that 100%. You create everything in your physical reality. Whether you're conscious or unconscious about it, everything that you create is something that you create for yourself. So if you're creating things that you don't prefer, guess what? There's a limiting belief that you're unaware of that's making you create that situation. This stuff goes very deep. It's not for the average guy who's just looking for me to pick up chicks, or the average guy who's just scrolling on TikTok all day. Like, this is for men who want real change. That being said, guys, be sure to follow me on Instagram if you haven't already, because I do post more often on there. And you could also get in contact with me through Instagram. Just DM me and let me know if you want to work with me or if you're interested in joining the group. I have a really solid group of guys who are all improving in all areas of life, but obviously it is focused around dating and relationships and stuff like that. And obviously we cover spirituality, all kinds of stuff. I would say it's a self-development group in general. So if you're interested in joining that, trust me, the investment you put in for the value that you get, it's unbeatable. So if you're interested in that, hit me up on Instagram, or if you want to book a free chat with me, go ahead and do that with the link below so I can see if you would be a good fit for the group or for my one-on-one coaching, and we can move forward from there. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.